going on, you rip-roaring, raging rump rangers? Just gave you a sneak peek at our guest. Welcome to Grunt Speak.
Live from the lair!
I'm Toxic Male, that's Terrence Pop. What's going on, guys? You have a good weekend? Hope you had a great weekend.
Yeah, well, and I want to apologize for the Sunday supporter stream, but I could not get anything to hook up to Rumble, and it just was a huge cluster.
It wasn't even going through our split stream.
No. So what I did is I basically did an upgrade, or what is it called?
Oh, the auto updates. Those auto updates kicked his ass.
Well, I updated Windows, and then I updated the graphics card because I was getting a weird error about some missing codecs or something.
Yep.
It's so dumb. And I was totally humiliated, embarrassed, and I just apologize to you guys right now. I try not to do business that way. It's pretty goddamn unprofessional. But we're up to 504.
Yes, we are. 504 is quite fantastic. I'm seeing in the chat right now on YouTube that some people are having some issues accessing Rumble. You're not alone. I'm going to let you know that. Before we went live, I kept getting 500 errors,
Rumble's,
which I'm not used to seeing.
I think they're having a DDoS attack.
Wouldn't shock me at all.
All right, so that means we're probably not going to jump over to new tech tonight. This isn't really anything we got to jump to new tech about, I don't think.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah,
I mean,
I do want to introduce our guest, though. This gentleman right here, I mean, this guy literally sent us his resume, and it's extraordinarily impressive. He's a younger dude. I want to say he's in his early 30s.
He's 34.
Originally from Turkey. Came over to the U.S. and then started doing God's work.
Yeah, and
fighting for
this
men's
guy
rights.
has like a 5th-degree black belt in administrative violence.
Yes.
I just have a black belt. I need to learn shit from this guy.
And if you guys want to see what kind of work I'm talking about, here you go. You can go to Redonkulas.com, click on videos on the front page. It'll take you to the stream right there. And we have a zip file so that you can see all of the legal documentation that is being led by this gentleman here. He goes by the name of Cursat, probably because that's what his name is. How you doing, good sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, brother.
No problem, man.
So what got you involved in all this? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, hang on a minute. I'm gonna ask you a question like a feminist. Who hurt you?
Who hurt you, bro? Do you have a bad relationship with your mom? That's how they always ask us over here. Anytime you confront a feminist with logic and reason, who hurt you?
Yes.
Are you gay? Can you not get laid? You have a small pee-pee? Like,
I've been familiar with, I guess, like men's rights activism ever since 2000, maybe like 13 or 14, when I first read Warren Farrell's The Myth of Male Power for the first time.
Oh, yeah. That's a good book.
So that was, I guess, kind of like that introduced me to the field, so to speak. And once I got to the United States, I got involved in Title IX activism. And it was initially because I was involved in a Title IX case of my own. So I filed a sexual assault complaint against a female martial artist, and I was recovering from a surgery at that time. So long story short, that ended up becoming the first sexual assault complaint that a male was able to file against a female student ever on the federal level.
wow.
Because it wasn't resolved favorably for me at the school level. So I appealed that to the federal agency, the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights. And it's like a very long story of appeals and counter appeals and like dismissals. But what happened was my allegations were found to be in good faith and objectively reasonable by a federal attorney. And then her boss basically dismissed the complaint. And to give some more context about this, I was attending the University of Southern California at this time, and there were many male students who were suing the school for bias against male students because, for those who are unfamiliar, Title IX is a federal law that prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in schools, but it has evolved into a feminist weapon against men. And it's really outrageous. Like, there's been a lot of pushback against the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights and its crusade against men. What they did was they established this really partisan, biased, administrative quasi-courts in schools. and they were staffed by radical feminists like this. At USC, we had someone called Keegan Alley, a lesbian feminist who basically never sided with male students. So it doesn't really matter like what the evidence is, what the underlying circumstances are. Like if you're male, basically she just finds against you. So that's the level of crazy that we have against these institutions. So this Title IX Inquisition actually originates from the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights, which was run by a radical feminist called Katrin Lehman during the Obama administration. So between 2012 and 2019, and according to research that I've conducted, the Office for Civil Rights was 24 times more likely to side with female students than male students during that time.
24.
Why hasn't anyone filed a federal lawsuit against them for this? That's obvious discrimination.
Wow.
I've been in communication with a few attorneys, but it's very difficult to sue federal agencies. Unfortunately, they're very well protected.
Yeah.
But we did have some progress. Like we were able to lead to some like legislative reforms. So I'll kind of like touch upon that later. And another statistic I want to mention is male students who contacted the agency had a success rate of only 1.1% between 2019 and 2012 and 2019.
My God.
1.1%?
That is obviously a fucking grounds for a discrimination lawsuit.
Dude.
99 to 1%. I mean, what the fuck?
I'd have better odds nailing the fucking bullseye in the skee ball.
Wow.
That's insane. And you said, when did you say that you successfully got this lawsuit of yours pushed through? What year was it?
So it was in 2016. And by that time, there was resistance building up against. So I just typed in her name. Her name is Katrin Lehman. This is the man-hater who was in charge of the Office for Civil Rights during the Obama administration. And unfortunately, she's running the agency again. I will come to that. But what happened was by 2016, there was resistance building up against OCR's policies. Like when they first launched the crusade, they received a lot of support, both from the Congress and from the mainstream press. But eventually, as evidence of these extreme partisanship in these administrative courts began to surface, they began to lose support, and there was a lot of criticism, and that criticism began to build up, and male students also sued their colleges. They were not always successful in suing the federal agency itself, but they were successful in suing their colleges, and by this time, I believe there are more than 250 federal and state level rulings that are favorable to male students when it comes to Title IX.
Yeah, but what I don't...
Anyway.
Hang on. I don't want to... All right. So I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Don't these colleges seem to understand that they're literally taking themselves out of the business of education? I mean, 40% of the students are male, and they're crushing their nuts for bullshit.
Yep.
60% are female. What is going to happen to the colleges when 80% of them are female and 20% male? Because guess who doesn't pay their student loans? Women.
Yeah. It just still blows my mind that he said, like, this was a legal precedent. There was not a successful sexual harassment charge filed against a female until 2016.
Wow.
Yes. Put that in your equality pipe and smoke it, you womanist bastard.
We gotta write that down so we can add it to our statistics, because wow.
Well, you know what? If you want statistics, and you guys, I mean, I encourage you, definitely go to the website. I just want to make sure that we're referring to this here and check this out, because we got, bing. This is one of the Title IX complaints that Cursat sent to Brown University. And if you want receipts, you want sources, holy shit. Look at this. General prologue. Men are on average more disadvantaged than women throughout the world, including the U.S. There's a footnote there. The American criminal justice system is biased against male defendants. Also a footnote. Likewise, there are concerns about discrimination against men in the American family court system. That's just the opening taste. And then you go down here, look at the receipts.
All the sources.
They're all here. They're glorious. And I encourage you to go to the website, download it. It's a zip file. There's 4 to 5 pieces of documentation in there with all of this.
And we're going to keep it up for anyone who wants to follow in his footsteps and do this.
Absolutely. Yes, Kursat, you are a pioneer, a gentleman, and a scholar. We appreciate you coming on.
Well, the thing is you could literally download that, adjust it to your individual situation, change who's it's addressed to and everything.
Boom.
And 80% of the work is already done for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
I mean, if they could snag you for plagiarism, and then you wouldn't be able to run for president for 30 years. But I'm just saying.
It's okay. It's open source, and I've actually helped a lot of male students file their own complaints against other educational institutions. So the good thing is anybody can file a complaint against any institution. So if you want to download, let's say, that complaint and adjust it to any other educational institution that you want to go after, you can do that, and then you can file a complaint. If you need any help, you can always contact me at my website, and I'll do my best to offer help.
all right.
So to kind of continue with our previous narrative, around 2016, the Department of Education accepted this complaint. And then because there were other male students who were suing the University of Southern California at that time, I argued that it wasn't just me, it was male students in general who faced discrimination in these sexual harassment tribunals. And the Department of Education actually accepted that complaint, and it was upgraded into a class action complaint. And I think that was what kind of got me interested in other female-owned programs, etc., which later became a field of its own. But so what happened was the particular complaint was found to be in good faith and objectively reasonable. But as I mentioned, we are fighting against impossible odds here. And the Office for Civil Rights was staffed by these radical feminists who just, didn't want to give any chance to the complaint. And it was dismissed by a woman called Laura Fire, who used to be the regional officer of the San Francisco office, which, by the way, is the most liberal, the most progressive, the most, anti-male sub-agency.
Let's use the correct word. Let's use the correct word. Communist.
Yes.
That's exactly what that is.
You can say that. The most communist sub-agency of the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights. And at that time, I decided to do something that's a bit, some people might call it a bit extreme, but I went on a hunger strike. So
hang on. You did a hunger strike.
Yes, I did a hunger strike.
So how long? For how long?
For 32 days. So I avoided solid food. I got some liquids, but nothing, that can be described as food. And I lost quite a few pounds. So, and as a result of the hunger strike, I was able to effectuate termination of the regional officer who was, overseeing the complaint.
Yeah.
And the Department of Education launched an investigation against Yale University because of the hunger strike. So again, that was unprecedented. The federal government going after an Ivy League institution for discrimination against men. And I decided to go public sometime after that. And because it was unprecedented, an Ivy League institution was under investigation for discrimination against men. There was a lot of press coverage, like NBC, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, as well as many other small conservative outlets, covered the story. And what happened around this time was I filed another complaint against USC, and I was challenging female-only scholarships and female-only business programs, like, support programs for women in business, in medicine, in STEM, etc. So,
hold on.
Yeah.
What you're explaining is not just taking place in the colleges. It's in the high schools, the middle schools, and the grade schools. These girls-only clubs and help, groups for women only exist all the way down to starting at third grade-ish.
Yeah.
And it literally goes all the way up. There's nothing for dudes.
Nope.
They've destroyed all of the male spaces.
Yes.
So we have nowhere to hang out and learn from each other. We have to deal with these feminist psychos ruining men's lives from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, there's still Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
But there's no Boy Scouts.
Yeah,
There's
they
just
destroyed Boy Scouts.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is disgusting.
It just seems to get worse and worse. So it's really refreshing to hear that there's somebody out there who's pushing and actually getting this shit taken to task.
Well, they're going to have to do something because, literally, when this whole thing implodes, there's going to be a lot of people looking to come get a pound of flesh.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's true that it goes into the K-12 level as well. And the good news is because Title IX covers all educational institutions, it's possible to file complaints against K-12 female-only programs as well. So you can definitely do that. If anybody is interested in filing such a complaint, they can reach out to me and I will do my best to help.
All right. What is your website? What is your website so we can type it into the chat?
You have one?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, you have a website?
Basically just my name, but...
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out here.
All right. Because I want to make sure everyone knows who you are, knows how to contact you.
Thank you.
So we can literally kick their asses so hard it becomes a hat.
All right. I got your LinkedIn here, so I'm going to grab it from that, your personal website, and I will paste it into all of the chats.
Yes.
There are
and we
quite
should
a few.
probably attach it in a text file and put it in that zip file. So if they come to our site to get the zip file with your documents,
I'll put it right above where the zip file is.
Excellent. And then as you continue to file more of this stuff, send it to us so we can add it.
Sure. I used to maintain kind of like a small library on my website, but it got tricky. So I simplified the website, but I can definitely send you more documents if you want to upload them on your own website. I can definitely do
no
that.
problem, man.
Oh, yeah,
Listen,
these are crazy.
I'm in the business of saving men's lives from suicide. The system that we have that exists, K through 12 and all of like divorce and family court, is so one-sided. It is literally driving men to suicide.
Yep.
Yeah.
It kills hope. It kills love. It is inherently as evil as it gets. And nobody cares. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
This is absolute horse shit.
Yeah, because society has been tricked by a big lie that keeps getting repeated over and over again. That we're the privileged ones. We're the ones, especially if we're born without melanin in our skin, we're born innately evil, and we need to apologize for things that we never did, never participated in, and would condemn in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
And a women.
All right, stop it. All right, I'm sorry, Kursat. I keep stepping on you. It's just...
He's got 2 TBIs, so if he doesn't get a thought out,
it disappears.
It disappears.
I apologize. I don't want to. I'm not being disrespectful to you at all.
Yeah.
That's just how my mechanics work.
Yeah, I've been working with him for over 10 years now, so it's nice that I can share my pain with somebody. But back to you, good sir. Right. I don't want to throw you off your game.
Continue on. I'm sorry.
No, thank you. So as I mentioned, I filed this complaint challenging scholarships and professional programs for women in 2018. And that was precedential. So nobody had ever challenged female-owned scholarships, which is $1 billion worth industry, or these female-owned professional support programs before. And what happened was, again, the San Francisco office dismissed the original complaint. But by this time, we had the Trump administration, and the Trump administration actually appointed some people who wanted to fix the Office for Civil Rights because, there was so much bullshit coming out of the agency, and it led to a reaction. It led to a political reaction. So and they changed the appeal system. So previously, you could only appeal to the regional director, which is why when I went on this hunger strike and led to the termination of Laura Fire, the former regional officer, I still couldn't appeal the dismissal of the first complaint that I filed, which was about sexual harassment issues. But eventually they changed the appellate system, so you could appeal directly to the political appointees. So I appealed the dismissal, and they reinstated the complaint upon appeal. And that was the first complaint that established the legal precedent that, female-owned scholarships and female-owned business programs are legally suspect. So, and what happened after that? Me and some other people started filing complaints, and by this time, we now have hundreds of open investigations against female-only business programs, support programs, and scholarships. So it became kind of like a ballooning, almost an industry of its own. And we are seeing some good progress. So we are making some good progress.
Can you imagine if this actually kicks off and gets some steam, and you become the dude at the top of the pile, and there's actually millions of complaints filed all over the country? Because listen, this is going on at community college, state colleges, and even the Ivy League, schools out there that have been in business for over 300 years.
Yeah.
They need to get the shit suit out of them. This is so one-sided. It's bullshit. 1%.
1%.
My God. How can any attorney look at themselves in the mirror and say, why can't I sue these people? It's blatantly obvious.
I think it's because, and I'm going to refer back to a piece of your documentation here. It's in this Title IX complaint. I think it sums it up beautifully here. The chilling effect right here. Male students / professors who deviate from the orthodoxy of campus gender politics often face mobbing or termination. And I'm sure the same goes for legal counsel as well. If you're willing to stand up to this stuff, you have to be willing to become a pariah.
Yeah. I mean, I already am. So
yeah. And if you've got, the money, but of course you want more, you're probably not going to throw that away. You're just going to turn a blind eye to it, even though fighting injustice is exactly why you took the fucking job.
All right. So you let us know before when you first came on the show that you speak 5 or 6 languages?
I've studied 7 languages, but I'm fluent in Turkish and English, and I work as a simultaneous translator and interpreter.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're possessed by a demon because you can speak all of these languages. No, I'm just playing.
He just starts speaking in tongues.
What I'm saying is you have enough intellect. You could easily go to law school, get a degree, and literally take it to these asshats in their backyard.
Well, at this point, though, with the reputation that I'm sure you're developing on college campuses for setting these sorts of legal precedents, you'd have a target on your back. Am I wrong?
You're going to have a target on your back.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. I could probably attend a conservative law school, which I may in the future. But it's not a given. Sadly, it takes a toll.
Didn't you say that they fucked up? I'm sorry, I keep using the F word. I got to stop doing that.
That they fornicated.
They fornicated up your PhD. Can you explain that?
Yes, sadly. So I was still attending USC when all these things happened, and what happened was I requested an extension, which is routinely granted. I know PhD students who take 7 or 8 years to finish their PhD. I was requesting an extension for 6th year, and it was just denied. So, and 2 radical feminist professors, Hilary Shore and Margaret Russet, basically vetoed my dissertation. One of them vetoed my prospectus, and I was able to overcome that by quickly substituting her. But then Margaret Russet vetoed the dissertation chapter itself. And it's really annoying because I reached out to English professors outside of our department, and they said, this is fine. This meets academic standards. But, Margaret Russet was colluding with Gloria Allred at that time. Margaret Russet and Hilary Shore are also the 2 same radical feminist professors who compelled Max Nikias, our previous president, to resign from his position based on false allegations of sexism and racism.
Oh, boy.
So sadly, and I was just matched up with those professors, and they basically denied my PhD.
Okay.
So I graduated with another MA degree.
How long ago did this happen?
It's been 3 years now. 2 years and a half, maybe.
Wow.
Do you think you're outside the statute of limitations to file a lawsuit against the college for this horse shit?
I could. I've considered filing a lawsuit, but I'm just really. And another thing is an English PhD has really lost its value.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really.
So you're like,
really impossible to get a job with a PhD in English anyway. So,
so it's,
sadly, there's.
Yeah, I got you. You're picking your battles. All right, I got you.
Yeah, so it didn't really seem even worth going after, to be honest. So compared to everything else that I was doing, that's basically my stance on it.
I got you.
Yeah, I can understand that.
All right, so oh my God,
it's still horse shit though. I mean, you go to school for so many years, you do everything right. I mean, you're going above and beyond. You're taking the word equality literally in the West, which, as we all know, is a thought crime.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you've been successful, and this is what you get. This is how you get thanked in a Western society that has become so corrupt to its core.
What I want to do now
blows my mind.
Let's bring up the give send go of Han Nguyen.
You sent that to me?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Win, bro.
Like 5 minutes ago.
Check it out. Here we go. We got it here. Okay. Yeah, this is a give send goes.
All right. Now this guy is a Marine.
Yeah, this goes for Han Nguyen. And he is, Marine, like you said, wrongly accused, and he needs help launching a suit. So if you go to givesendgo.com/blindtiger, and I will type it into the chat and copy it for you guys, you can help this dude,
And another thing you can
keep
do,
fighting back.
After the show, let's put that whole zip file and email it to him.
Will do.
So he actually has because he's a Marine.
Yep.
He stood his watch on the wall, risked his ass just like everyone else who did that, and then Princeton turned around and did the same crap to him that they're doing to our guest. And this isn't an isolated incident. This is a severe problem with higher education. It needs to be stopped.
Yeah,
we need to organize enough men to crush this shit into the Stone Age. Millions of lawsuits. We need to crush them mercilessly.
Yeah. I know it's hilarious that the same people screeching about systemic bigotry, racism, sexism, they're all absolutely correct while at the same time being 100% wrong. Isn't it amazing how that works?
Well, the thing is when they speak those words, what they're really saying is you do a 180 and you put in the word men instead of woman, and then it would be accurate.
Yep. Well, I mean, we all know how the modern media establishment shills operate. You can say anything you want against white males. It doesn't matter. It can be the most horrifyingly, genocidal shit you can imagine. You can say it on daytime television. They will not say a word of it.
No, they won't.
But as soon as you alter that, give a different genitalia and maybe a little bit of melanin in its skin, magically everyone gets outraged.
Yes.
Who are the real racists?
I'm so sick of this shit.
Wow.
And listen, I'm not a racist. I mean, I served in the military for 33 years with every, type of race that's on the planet. Maybe even Eskimos. I mean, come on.
I mean, you've learned by now that we all bleed the same color. So
yeah. I don't know, man. All right. So what is your next step? I mean, what are you going to do now?
So just wanted to say two more things.
Okay.
I also had some luck with challenging female-only employment preferences as well in the education sector, because, as you know, men are disadvantaged when it comes to recruitment. Some STEM departments have a 2-to-1 preference rate for women, for example. So in a complaint that I filed against Georgetown, which is taken up for investigation and which is currently open, those employment preferences are also being investigated. So that was another milestone. And the Brown complaint, which I sent to you and which has been uploaded to our website, is really interesting because that's the first time women's studies, like my allegations against women's studies and women's centers, were taken up for the first time. And I've been in communication with people who want to, teach gender studies from a perspective that is, more that appeals to male students. So I've been in communication with Warren Farrell, Edward Stephens, with people like those, people like that.
I'm familiar with Mr. Farrell.
Classes.
I've met Mr. Farrell a few times when I spoke at some of the men conferences in 2014, 16, and 20. So,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him. But any man out there, I'm just going to tell you straight up, don't get sucked into this gender studies horseshit. It is complete crap. And another thing that pisses me off, right, is we know women do not like dud jobs. Dirty, dangerous, or dirty, uncomfortable, and dangerous.
Yep.
All right. So literally, they're fighting tooth and nail to do the white-collar jobs that pay a lot of money, and they're crying about equality. Well, guess what? 96% of the people in oil rigs, men. I want that 50-50. People pulling up the yummy crab legs, that's 90-some-odd% men. I want that 50-50. If we're gonna push for equity across the board, then where the hell are the feminists crying about that horse crap? Oh, that's right, they don't. They want special treatment and special preferences, and to hell with everyone else.
Amen.
They are quite literally destroying our civilization.
Yeah. Between their greed and stupidity and fatherless homes, yeah, we're just about there.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. We're literally sliding down the slope to a two-way rifle range.
Yeah. I mean, if your goal is to smash a system, because they always say smash the patriarchy, if that's your goal, and your way of doing that is to, let's see, kick the father out of the home, let the same state that you claim is systemically racist and bigoted raise your kids.
Yep.
And then you want to leave the house so that you can work for the patriarchy, pay it taxes, and then vote to make it bigger.
Wow!
I mean, it's just great. You might as well be in a war and then just walk up to the front line, the enemy's front line, and be like, hey, here you go. Here's all my weapons and stuff. I mean, that'll show you.
Yeah, here's the plans we're going to attack with. Get the hell out of here.
And that's why they never, and they become so self-important. They become so ensured of their dominion over this culture that they don't see guys like Cursat coming.
Well, the thing is I have no idea why more men haven't come forward by now and started pitching like mega bitches. I just don't understand it.
I think by now we've all gotten the message that even when we pitch a mega bitch, most of the time it's going to fall on deaf ears.
You're correct. Until you have 1 million of them.
1 million of them, yeah.
Until you have 100 million of them.
And they all know how to file the paperwork.
Yeah, because guess what? If everyone knows how to file the paperwork, and we're going to have the zip file on our site, literally you could swamp these systems into oblivion.
Administrative violence.
Yeah. Administrative violence.
Yeah, I mean, you guys bought the webinar, but make no mistake, Pop isn't the last person you should be learning from. Take notes from the new master right here.
Listen, my administrative violence is dirty and nasty, and it's basically to cover your six.
Yeah, this is more civilized.
This guy has gone to the top of the pyramid, and he's doing administrative violence way up here. I'm 4 levels below him.
Yeah. Pop's like Buffalo Bill, and Cursat's like Hannibal.
Yeah.
Like Buffalo Bill will just like keep you in the basement and puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. Cursat's like, yeah, I'm gonna eat you, but I'm gonna be polite about it.
Yeah.
I love it. So what's the next document? Or do you have anything? Did you have anything else to speak about this?
Just let him talk, man. I love listening to this guy.
At this time, we don't really know the outcome of the Brown complaint. We had some favorable resolution letters, but there's always a possibility that the Biden administration may roll down some of these legal precedents that we have been able to obtain. But we don't really know. So right now, it's really, the outcome is a bit murky. So we don't really know if we will be able to keep achieving success in the future. But the good news is the issue has become partisan. So now Republicans are actually more invested in investigating and taking up these complaints compared to previous administrations. So I guess that's, better than nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that what we have right now, and we have seen some local attempts by regional directors, again, to minimize the scope of these complaints, unfortunately. So I'm having problems with the San Francisco office again. They're trying to minimize a complaint against Stanford, for example, while other regional offices are launching more comprehensive investigations. But I'm optimistic that, especially during a future Republican administration, even if this investigation lose some steam, they will pick up kind of like again, and we'll hopefully have more and more investigations in this vein. But we've seen a lot of progress over the last 5 or 6 years. As I said, there are now hundreds of investigations against these female-owned programs.
All right.
And we have also had some success investigating women's studies as well.
All right,
and the good part about investigating women's studies is so an educational department or institution may eventually be forced to either drop its women's studies program or offer something equivalent for men, like a male studies program. So they will eventually be forced to have that choice.
Yeah. And you know what? Listen, I understand how you operate. I'm a former Green Beret. Everything is war to me. And I just had a brainstorm.
Oh, here we go.
All right. If we could get your information to all of the fraternities across the country and let them know exactly what they could do when the colleges are stepping on their nuts, because it happens all the time. We can awaken an army of educated dudes that are pissed off, have high testosterone, and don't give a fuck.
I just, yeah.
Yeah!
That sounds fantastic to me. In fact, I think it deserves probably one of these.
Sure. I mean, if you want to reach out to fraternities, that would be great. I don't really have contact information myself.
That's okay.
But I think some fraternities at least are really afraid of getting eliminated because there have been some social engineering experiments to eliminate fraternities. And what I've observed is that at least some fraternity members are deadly afraid of these politically correct environments, and they don't really want to, take any action of their own.
I got you.
But you never know. You may definitely meet some people who are willing to put up a fight, and it's becoming more mainstream. We have had some positive mainstream coverage in recent past, like Forbes, for example, covered these investigations. You really never know. So,
all right, let's do a quick roll call here.
You want to do a roll call?
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
do
check
a roll call.
We got 666 on YouTube watching right now. 557 and it just keeps climbing. So it's up to 560. It keeps going up on Rumble. Looks like Rumble's officially back up 100%.
Okay.
We've got 58 watching on Odyssey, 72 on MGTOW.tv. DLive is rocking 37. Still can't upload the thumbnail or the description over there. 34 on Twitch.
Okay. We're a little late today, but I think another problem that could be is we have a major storm ripping through the middle of the United States.
That is what I have heard, yes.
Yeah, so it's going to start snowing here tomorrow, 6 a.m. So, winning. Yeah.
Jail.
All right. So, do you have the other document? Can we pull that up?
Oh, yeah, I've got lots of documents here. I mean, I could just jump back into, I can look up where is it? Because I've got his...
You got that? We talked about the title.
Yeah, I've got his resume here too, and I can just jump through the legal precedents that have been established by this gentleman here. So I'm going to jump on over here. Bloop.
All right.
I go down here, you get to see all this stuff. I'm going to jump down here, scholarships and awards. He's done some advocacy on behalf of women and minorities. So this is hilarious, though, because this is real advocacy on behalf of women and minorities. Read some of this. Participated in various protests to oppose discrimination against the Christian, Jewish, and how do you pronounce that? Alevi?
Alevi, yes.
Alevi minorities of Turkey.
Okay.
Participated in the Gezi protest 2013 as a bodyguard volunteer.
Uh-huh.
Taught English pro bono for CYDD, a secularist organization that seeks to eliminate illiteracy among women in Ankara.
Uh-huh.
Signatory to the Human Rights Declaration, we will not be a party to this crime, which condemned the persecution of the Kurdish minority in 2016. Signatories have been persecuted by the Turkish government. And, of course, there's sources for all this down here. Collected 5,000-plus signatures for a petition to oppose the prosecution of a dissident woman politician critical of Islam.
No.
You're not allowed to talk bad about the brownies.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And then we have advocacy on behalf of men, which is much longer. So legal precedent, this is all like the first 5 here are all created legal precedent by persuading the U.S. to press sexual assault charges against a female martial artist, what we talked about earlier, and later expand the investigation into a class action complaint on behalf of men. Legal precedent by persuading the U.S. to recognize men as a minority in colleges.
Because they are.
Yes, thus shifting the operational logic of affirmative action laws and creating legal liability for female-only scholarships worth billions.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a scam.
Yep. Created legal precedent by persuading the U.S. to investigate employment preferences for women. That falls under that affirmative action heading. And created legal precedent by persuading the U.S. to investigate women's centers and women's studies, which we all know are two of the most
It's
useless
a bunch of
things ever.
bullshit. They're just pushing their communist manifesto.
Well, you remember when one person tried to create a men's center for domestic violence survivors, and that person was harassed and doxxed and just
until he committed suicide.
He self-deleted because it's just like but it's all about equality, right?
Yeah.
Filed an administrative complaint against Laura Fayer, or Fire, you said. What was the name? Fire?
I'm not quite sure about the pronunciation.
Okay. Former regional director of OCR San Francisco, Fayer resigned soon after the complaint. This likely marks the first time a high-ranking U.S. administrator was forced to resign for discriminating against men. Collected 700-plus signatures for a coalition complaint against Cornell University. Signatories include think tank presidents, celebrated authors and activists, specialist lawyers, and law professors. Assisted students wrongfully accused of disciplinary infractions who were unable to afford legal counsel, and, of course, the aforementioned hunger strike.
All right, now let's talk for this wrongfully accused. All right. I have talked in the past 10 years to probably 50 young men who have been thrown out of college for just mere accusations. They had like this Title IX hearing where he's not allowed to bring a lawyer. He's not even allowed to speak. It's literally show up, stand on the pile of wood. We're going to burn you alive.
So it's a January 6th committee.
Yeah, it is so one-sided. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, and we're talking like maybe 200 guys, because I talk to probably between 7 and 20 guys a year. So I mean, this is, and listen, guys are getting screwed up for stuff that happened before they even showed up to the college. And guys are getting, hemmed up for supposed crimes that took place off campus.
Yeah, sadly.
So they have no jurisdiction. And the man, this particular individual, he was at a bar, linked up with a woman who was a student at the school, which he did not know at the time. They went and did the deal. Then there was the regret afterward for whatever reason, and she involved the police. The police investigated, said there's nothing here. This is a nothing burger. Then she went to the school and complained, and that dude, not only did he get thrown out, but he could not transfer his credits after being in that school for 3 years.
Whoa.
I believe they want him to wait like 2 or 3 years before he could transfer his credits. That is so off base. Wow. I was just shocked at that.
Yeah, and the system was designed to be, discriminatory against men. So with the criminal justice system, there's also some bias against men.
But
some
with bias.
This Title IX, Yes, but with this Title IX investigations and administrative quasi courts, the system was specifically designed to be discriminatory against men. It's like the overwhelming majority of Title IX administrators are women, and the overwhelming majority of people who are expelled are like 99% of them are basically men.
Yeah.
So you have an all-female army of corrupt bureaucrats who are investigating male students and just expelling them based on all sorts of flimsy reasons.
And look, can you imagine if all of those men did a class action lawsuit against the college that threw them out? Because there's more than just one.
Oh, yeah.
And you hit them where it hurts. You take their money away. That needs to happen.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I'm getting more spun up about this than I thought I was.
When I told you before we started that this was your wheelhouse, I wasn't joking.
No,
you were like, "How is this my wheelhouse?" I'm like, "Oh, you just wait," because I read this stuff.
That's what I.
I knew what was coming.
Man,
but it's crazy.
So we actually discussed the possibility of class action federal lawsuits, but the lawyers didn't really pick it up. They said, because the circumstances of each case are different, you can't really merge them into a class action case, even though I did have some preliminary success with the OCR complaint that I mentioned. It was a class action case. But even with individual cases moving forward, we have seen a lot of victories for male students. I believe at this time there are more than 600 or 700 lawsuits against individual institutions. And as I mentioned, for technical reasons, it's very hard to sue the Office for Civil Rights directly. But students have had good success with suing their educational institutions. And I believe by this time there are more than 250 rulings that are favorable to male students when it comes to pleading Title IX cases in almost every jurisdiction in the country, like under every circuit court. There's at least one favorable ruling.
Yeah, because listen, I suppose it was a lot worse when the Me Too thing just came out. They were literally crucifying dudes on accusations alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, I mean, it just infuriates me when I hear that. Now, I'm all for if you did it and you get caught and you're tried and they prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt that some shagnanigans went on, got it. But that's not even taking place. Our whole country was set up around innocent until proven guilty. And you know why that is? Because before we set up the Constitution, kings and other rulers from around the globe put hundreds of thousands or millions of people to the sword for no reason. I mean, England smoked up, I don't even know how many people the Protestants under Queen Mary. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just unfathomable. And this is where the left wants to go. They want to go back to burning people at the stake because somebody pointed their finger and go, that person's a witch. Really, that's a misogynist. Let's burn him alive.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
He's a grapist because I said so.
Yeah.
Let's hang him in the public square.
Yeah, believe all women. No. And then I was reading that one tweet about that one female that's like, hey, look, if you get accused of rape, even if you were not guilty, just accept your punishment.
Yeah.
Like, that is the mindset we're up against. They literally don't want you to say anything and just be the whipping boy victim. Men don't do that. All right, now I know we have Gen Z that have been, now we're on our third generation of dudes raised by women. If I have any Gen Zers watching this, wake the hell up. Because guess what? They are coming for you. All right.
You're next.
Yeah, you're next.
And just because I know that I'm going to get asked to play this after that rant, here we go.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus. Makes you stronger.
It does.
There we go.
It does.
So, Kursat, what I'm most curious about and what I've been seeing most in the chat is what sort of opposition have you personally been butting up against in this whole process?
Quite a lot. Like, I mean, even the initial accusation against me had a political component. Because I was accused of being a misogynist, of course. So
Of course.
that you could say that was in and of itself a form of retaliation. And then there was the fact that I lost my PhD because I requested a extension and it wasn't granted. I received some hate mails, not quite as much as I expected, but occasionally I get kind of like a bad note.
Speaking from experience, dude, you just wait. Because when it starts to arrive, it'll all be the same.
Yeah, it is glorious. I literally love reading. They stopped really sending it because I started doing shows about it.
Yeah, I think we did like 4 or 5.
And ripping them apart.
Yep.
And literally, it's always the same thing. Yeah, who hurt you? You hate your mother. You can't get laid. You're gay. I mean, come back with some actual facts and statistics and studies and argue with me on the logical level. Oh, that's right. You can't because you argue with feelings. Mm-hmm. Now, I would love the world to be some happy utopia where everyone got all the food and water and no one had to really do anything. That doesn't exist.
Yep.
For you to exist here, something has to die every day. It is a dog-eat-dog world here. And we just have to live in it. That's it.
Yep.
Feelings don't come into this at all, except revenge. But that's another show. and that's it. I'm just saying.
All right, back to Kursat.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
He does this. This is like when you get him spun up, it's just like, pachoo, like
it's
gotta rip him up.
But I mean, I also received a lot of supportive messages, so that was great. And I think I've been in communication with a lot of people, probably more than 1,000 people after I went public. So there was a lot of publicity, like as I mentioned, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, NBC News, Fox News, like they all covered the investigation. So now some of that publicity is, when I first went public, there were like hundreds of people who were like checking out my LinkedIn account. Like I was receiving like dozens of emails. Nowadays, it's like down to a trickle, which is, more manageable. So I appreciate it more. But usually I think the reaction has been supportive. So and maybe because I'm really stubborn, I think a lot of men don't really know how to defend their rights against women. That's really part of it. Like men are conditioned to protect women. And what happens is when you find yourself in a conflict with women, that kind of instinct is really used against you, unfortunately. So a lot of men just kind of like give up, but I'm really stubborn. So I really kept fighting. And I did like things that, weren't really expected, like going on a hunger strike, like creating new legal precedents. And I was also lucky enough to enjoy the pro bono representation by a sympathetic lawyer. So shout out to him, Mark Hathaway, in California. So I probably had more success than most. So, and it's been a blessing.
Yeah.
So even though I lost my PhD degree, it was kind of like worthless anyway. So
yeah, I know, but the thing is you could go after that college to refund you all of your tuition and time, since they are basically discriminating against you. That's probably a big.
I never paid any tuition. So
okay.
What happened? Say again.
He never paid tuition.
Oh,
I never paid tuition. I was on a full scholarship.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then, all right.
I wonder what the legalities of that are involved. I mean,
I don't know.
If they took scholarship funds and then denied him his PhD, couldn't the scholarship commission come in and stir some shit?
But, the thing is there's a whole bunch of lawyers out there who want to take the easy cases. They're afraid to go in front of certain judges or even go to certain jurisdictions because it's bad for their career. They don't give a shit about the actual country and how people, like half the population is literally getting crushed.
Yep.
And I mean, I would love to set up an organization of attorneys that are willing to, take the hard cases and go after some of these SOBs.
That'd be nice.
And hit them where it hurts, take their money away. And like, what's her face that resigned? Jacinda?
Whatever her
name is.
Or what?
I would I would keep an eye on her, and everywhere she went to work, you send the information to their employer, let them know how much of a piece of shit this person is. I mean, just make their life a living hell. I have a buddy of mine that did that for a cop.
Oh, yeah?
That kicked his ass, knocked out 4 of his teeth.
Oh.
Sued the guy. The guy resigned, and then the suit didn't go anywhere. But he made sure that every time that cop was working at a new city or county or whatever, he sent all the information there, and that guy literally had to jump through. He jumped through like 4 other jobs before he left. He had to go find another job doing something else.
Good.
Because listen, we're men. When people fuck with you, you need to fight back. God damn it.
Wow.
That is how we're designed.
It has been a while since we've gotten Pop this spun up on the show.
But I'm serious. We're men. Like literally, that is one of our purposes is to put our foot in people's asses.
But Pop,
who are idiots.
That's toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you
sure,
get in
sure
touch
it
with
is.
your feelings and learn to cry and go to therapy and
Those are the toxic men.
and
right
make
there.
sure you get an experimental jab. Otherwise, you're not a true American patriot.
Yeah,
Wait.
listen. I don't know. I'm so pissed. Right
But hey, I thought Cursat would give you hope. Instead, he just reminded you of how fucked everybody is.
It is. It's crazy, and it's not going to. It's not going to correct itself until we can motivate all of the men in this country to say enough is enough and start taking action, suing all of these people into the Stone Age. And even if you're not successful, they still have to waste an assload of resources to go to court.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It costs $300 an hour for you to get access to your constitutional rights.
Mm-hmm. Ideologies like the one that is, doing all of this disgusting shit that's dragging our country down into the shitter cannot survive direct action. That's why their first mode of attack is always propaganda.
Or they attack you in the eyes of the public.
Yeah, that's propaganda.
They convict you in public, the public
witch
forum.
hunts. It's basically public lynching.
Yeah, it is.
So.
It's a public lynching. It is the 2022 version of 1820 lynching.
It's 2023 now, man. Where's
2023? Sorry.
Woo!
It takes me a month or two to change over. And
welcome to current year, man.
well, when I go to sleep tonight, I'll talk to Evil Pop and have him change his watch to catch up. And we should be good.
And then you can go for a scavenger hunt to find all the half-empty mint chocolate chip ice cream from Breyers around the house.
Listen, I'm not eating that. I've lost a lot of weight.
I'm missing 5 spoons, which means there must be 5 cartons of empty ice cream somewhere in this house.
It's shameful.
It is, but it's fine. It's worth the wait. Yeah, fat bastard.
All right. So, what is another one of the documents he had? He had like 4 of them in there, right?
Well, yeah, we got a few of the different complaints and everything all set up here. But I mean, it's about 9 o'clock right now. So, what I was going to mention before was that it actually kind of gives me a little bit of hope that the silent majority might be getting a little bit braver, because Kursat said that a majority of what he's experienced has been positive. Which is great, because the silent majority cannot afford to stay silent forever. I understand that we all just want to be left alone, but when you see what's going on out there, sooner or later, staying quiet, it could get you killed.
Yep.
So you need to stop that.
Don't die.
Yeah. Just saying.
All right. I don't know, man. The whole thing is just infuriating.
So, Kursat, what is your next step with all this? I mean, like, how long has this Brown University complaint thing been going on, and where do you see things going from here?
So the Department of Education takes a sweet time to process these complaints. Like the Brown investigation, the Brown complaint was filed, I think, 3.5 years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it takes years. And that's not necessarily like a gender thing. I know that like complaints filed on behalf of female students also take years to process.
It's just bureaucratic.
Have you contacted your senator and asked him why it's taking so long? Because typically when the people in the government start saying, hey, what's going on here, things start to happen faster.
That's a good idea. I can probably try that.
Well, I know this is exactly what I used to do when I wanted to supercharge the system. I would write the complaint, right? And then I would write a letter to the senator and my congressman, put a copy of the complaint in there. Then I would take the letters from the senator, the congressman, the governor, and I would put them with the actual complaint and send them to the person in charge of that organization as a shot across the bow that everyone and their mother has visibility on this now.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the tactics I had to do in the military, because they have a bad habit of, after enough time, they sweep it under the rug. But when you have a bunch of eyeballs looking at it, they can't afford to do that.
Yeah. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why some of the attention that you've seen has died down a bit, is because when the media has eyes on things, they have to talk about it. So,
Yes.
like, I understand that, like, at this point, things have kind of slowed to a trickle, and you probably appreciate that lack of attention, but at the same time, you don't want to lose steam either. So,
True. Here's a recent article that we published at Newsweek, so I'm posting it in the chat. It's relatively recent.
which chat are you posting it on YouTube?
YouTube.
All right, there you go. Perfect. So Cursat is in the YouTube chat. Make sure you guys are keeping an eye out for that.
All right.
Oh, wow. We just got a $50 donation from Suzanne. No comment. Thank you very much. I'll throw up one of these for you.
I know
We're not
Suzanne.
worthy! We're not worthy!
Yeah, I had to do it.
I like it.
I know Susanna. We've actually collaborated in a Title IX complaint before.
Oh, excellent.
Outstanding. Yeah,
Yeah.
before the show, I literally spammed this all over the internet, every place I could, as much as I could. There's only so many I could do on Facebook at a time before they slap my pee-pee. So, I have to space it out throughout the day.
Someone in the chat says it's butt time. All right, I can throw that up there for you. If you
There we go.
insist, yeah.
But
Not bad at all. You know what I'm saying?
listen, men like to look at butts and tits. That's just,
No, never. No, this is just a conspiracy.
listen, I'm not going to lie to people. I have no tongue for it. I like to look at ass and tits. I'm sorry.
No, nobody ever told me, man.
What can I say? Call me whatever you want. Istophobe, igot, doesn't matter.
Yeah, Susie Q is going to show up and give you that pee-pee slap that you've been... it's long overdue. Hey, get the fuck out of here. Oh, man. One of the reasons, and I was going to bring this up because we were actually looking up some stuff before the stream, before you came into the studio here, Kursat. I was always wondering why the hell this shit takes forever. And if you go back to 1998, check this out here. Virginia had actually asked the appeals court to block Title IX lawsuits against public colleges. I'm not sure exactly what happened with this afterwards, but I think we can all agree that the current state of events, this, if it didn't set a legal precedent, at the very least encouraged people in a direction.
I think that particular legislative attempt didn't go through. So I know that there have been attempts by conservatives to limit the scope of Title IX, but they don't usually survive legal scrutiny in the end. And if I recall correctly, this particular effort did not prevail either.
Oh, you mean leftoids typically like to pass resolutions that aren't lawful and file frivolous lawsuits when they don't get their way? Say it ain't so. Wow. I mean,
there's been a lot of litigation around Title IX. I know that when Betsy DeVos proposed some reforms that will, make it more fair for male students, feminists sued the federal agency, and all of those lawsuits were hopefully dismissed, thankfully dismissed. So that's great. So
Yeah, I mean, we know, going back to, early on in our show, there were, 2 high-profile false rapé accusations back-to-back that both got high-profile attention, especially as they fell apart and burst into flames.
There was that fraternity.
Yeah, you had the UVA case, and then you had Mattress Girl.
Yeah.
Also known as Emma the Porn Queen.
And here's another thing, is when these people sue the school, you need to make stipulations in your lawsuit that the people who pushed that or made it possible, if they work for the college, I don't care if they have tenure, they need to get fired and then sue them civilly at a personal level.
Amen.
Because like that whole fraternity where the whole crowd showed up and was going crazy, there was I believe it was reported there was 2 gunshots fired at the house, and they had to leave the property.
It was vandalism, windows broken, lives being threatened, you name it.
Yeah, and you need to get these people out. I mean, they're literally ruining this country. They're polluting the minds of the youth and turning them into cult zombies.
Yeah. Ugh. So, Cursat, before we start reading super chats and taking a quick break here, speaking as somebody who's gone through, the false accusation rigmarole and all that, whatnot, I know we've got some younger dudes watching the show who are unfortunately, walking the halls of modern brainwashing. I mean, higher education. So, what would you tell them? What is some advice that you would give them for avoiding, or if they, wind up embroiled in it, defeating this propaganda?
I think one piece of advice that I can give is date outside of your school. Like, don't date girls from your college, especially if it's a college that's like ultra liberal, that has this Title IX culture. I think it's really a good precaution to date outside of your college. So date like students from other institutions, or maybe even like non-students. So that might actually be kind of like handy advice. And another advice that I can give is just fight back if you find yourself in a position where you are falsely accused of anything. Like, it can be like accused of political bias, accused of misogyny, accused of sexual harassment. Like, caving in is never like a good option, because you give an inch and they take a mile. So that's really never a good idea to just like succumb to their demands and just like try to appease them. Always fight back, always hit hard, and I guess that's my advice.
Yeah, take it to them. This is insane.
Yeah, in the membrane.
Ugh.
But with that being said,
and I agree with what he said.
Absolutely.
Now listen, we're doing. I'm putting together the Working Man Survival Guide, and one of the main rules is don't fuck with women at your job.
Yeah.
Treat college like a job. If you meet women and they're interested in you and they go to the same school as you, you're there to get an education. That's your job. Let them rot on the vine. Go find a piece of ass somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
I mean, what we're talking about here, like we got Cursat covering the Title IX things, how it goes to schools. Working Men's Survival Guide, which we're going to be starting production on next month, is going to be what comes after. So,
how to not get, shit canned. Well, you can't really 100% protect yourself from getting shit canned at a job from an accusation.
No, because that's all it takes half the time.
Yeah, but the thing is if you have enough evidence that it's utter horse shit, then there's lawsuits. You can even sue the person that got you fired by lying. You can literally fuck these people. Oh, I keep saying the F word. You can really screw these people up.
It's all about the evidence.
Yeah,
always.
It's all about the evidence.
All right, I'm going to read some chats here. I'm sure we've got some questions for Cursat here. So we're going to start with Dung is Fun on YouTube. I found Freddy Krueger, guys. We could call off the search. We found him. Like, well, I mean, kind of looks like he traded in his Christmas sweater for
the Halloween sweater.
Halloween.
Black and orange.
I was thinking lasagna, maybe a few King Dongs.
No.
No?
No.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. I believe you.
You're such an asshole.
And he follows it up with the Fat Punisher took out Freddy Krueger and is now wearing his shirt as a trophy. To Valhalla we go. Alpha Dog Elite wants to know if we got some of that Arbor Lauer scotch yet.
No, I haven't been to the box yet. If you mailed it,
go to the liquor store.
I need to go to the liquor store and buy it. Yeah.
All right, and then we got Tiger NG says greetings from Poland.
All right.
All right, now across the ocean there must be late as hell. MGTOW Forever, you're both awesome. I rarely catch you guys live because I work graveyard. Let's all take a shot. And if you guys tried Jack Fire, well, naturally. Yeah.
Of course, I've tried Jack Fire.
Yeah, it's like the expensive version of Fireball.
I call it double burn.
Mm-hmm.
You drink enough of it and you vomit. It burns like shit coming out your nose.
Ugh, that's disgusting.
The double burn.
Double burn. El Snows, Kursat, I dub you the Bayraktar of the Manosphere.
All right.
Heck yeah. You can never choose your nicknames, but hey, if you got to pick one, sweet. K-Note, a chill guy at my high school hooked up with a girl and got falsely accused because her boyfriend found out. His family was too poor to fight it, so he wound up doing hard time.
Oh, my God.
Doesn't shock me at all, man. Most of the time, like I think Janet Bloomfield, back when she was writing blogs and whatnot, kind of laid out the reasons why modern women lie about rapé, and getting caught cheating was near at the top of the list.
If somebody lies and I wind up going to prison and they let me out, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
I will not take that. I will not take that lying down.
Mm-hmm. Michael Morgan, one of our resident authors, fight the patriarchy. Vote for a female-only draft today. Would you like to know more? Yeah, let's see feminists line up for that one.
Yeah.
I'll believe that when I see it. And even then, I'll probably make sure it's not a deep fake first. Kind of like a certain stunning and brave duly elected president's public appearances. Ooh, is that too soon?
Shocker.
Yeah. Nobody's earlobes change like that. They just continue to grow. Just so we're clear.
Yes.
And it's not human to not blink unless you're in a Nicholas Winding Refn film. And then they use CGI for that. Just saying. Fan I Am sent some Insta clips, which means we're definitely going to have to go to New Tech in a little bit here. Billy Von Baum, this comes from Thumper, the sweaty fat guy. He won it playing trivia that I hosted. I actually watched that. It was very entertaining. He wanted me to send it to you instead of hookers and blow that he would normally spend it on. He also wants Big Black Straw. Whoa!
Priorities. Priorities are everything in life.
Yes, and MGTOW Forever wants second Big Black Straw. Oh!
Bastard.
Had to get you while you were. If that landed in your drink, I'd be pissing myself right now.
I'd have to dump it out and pour a new one.
True Blue the Cat. Good comeback to the Who Hurt You comment. Your mother, after she went up for round 2 last night.
Damn.
Nice. Billy Von Baum with another donation. This comes from Polska Bob. He also won it barely, playing the trivia that I hosted. Yeah, I noticed that. He wanted me to send it to you instead of cheap beer and cancer sticks that he usually buys. He also wants a very pink, veiny straw. Hiya! True Blue the Cat, not want up, was meant to be, wasn't up for round 2. Well, sometimes you got to throw it in dry. Oh, God. MGTOW Forever wants us to Urban Dictionary, a definition. Cursat, if you've never watched the show before, we get a little crass around here. People like to try to make pop puke with these. Nebraska corn cob. Do I even want to know? I'm not sure if I want to know. Banging a chick in the ass after she's consumed a large amount of corn. Then you pull out your corn-covered cack and have her eat the corn off like it was corn off the... You people are disgusting.
That's disgusting.
Oh, God.
God dang, that's horrible.
Suzanne, once again, thank you very much for your $50 donation. You rock there. Mustanger65. Speaking of lawyers in class action, what about the DOD wanting payback for bonuses given to vax deniers?
Okay, there's in the works. They're putting together a couple of huge lawsuits against the government for that.
Good.
I mean, 8,300 servicemen across all the services were kicked out administratively. They were given general discharges.
Yep.
And now they got rid of the whole mandate because the recruiting collapsed. And if I have my way, I'm going to bring that down to 0 because I don't want to see any more young people have to go into the military to be, tested and become guinea pigs. In fact, I have receipts from the deaths on Fort Bragg where they found young soldiers dead in their bunks. And these guys were between 18 and 23 years old, the prime of their life. That is unheard of.
Yeah, and you just sent me another video the other day. You're just watching these people
just drop dead. And it's really weird how it happens too.
It's like they start
like they're
looking around and craning their neck like there's something above them that they're
Talking
trying
to
to
them.
hear or talk to them.
yeah, and then
And then their arm goes rigid, and then they collapse.
yeah, and then they start seizing.
Yeah. But I'm sure it's just climate change.
Yeah. Well, in that video, there's a lion that does the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell's up with that?
I thought nobody fucks with a lion. If you guys watch Grandma's Boy, great movie. But
Yeah,
apparently, Big Daddy Government and Big Pharma decided they could fuck with the lion.
Uh-huh.
Bad news bears. Oh, man. Crusader Nate, of course, just to mess with Pop here. Here we go.
Uh-oh. Oh, God, no. I hate this one.
I had to.
Come on.
Hey, the chat wants what the chat wants.
All
okay?
right.
Hillary deepfake. And Crimson Hawk, can we take a shot for Jason David Frank? He self-deleted over a divorce. I just found out 2 days ago, and I haven't been the same. Rest in peace, my hero, the Green Ranger, Jason David Frank. Yeah, we're going to be having a guy on the show to discuss that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I believe February 2nd.
Yes,
is
I
when
am.
you wanted to chime in.
I am beside myself. I mean, it's just. And listen, it almost got me. And if it could do that to me, it could get anyone.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, Cursat, I'm sure, I don't know if you know anybody that's self-deleted over false accusations, but that happens every day. So,
Yes,
I mean, that could have been you.
There are several male students who committed suicide because of their involvement in Title IX.
There you go.
So, yes, unfortunately.
And I'm sure that the women involved in that didn't give a shit.
Nope.
No.
Not a single fornication was given that day. Oh, man. And then we have, so I don't have a shot, so I might have to take a shot for the Green Ranger. Yeah, come on over there and grab one. Actually, no, I don't. I've got one right here.
Yeah, you got booze.
I got my own booze. I keep forgetting I have my own stash. Let's check this out. So, yeah, I grew up watching Power Rangers, so... And that dude was like legit badass. He was like 4th degree black belt, several different martial arts. He did some MMA stuff.
Listen,
he wasn't just
I got it. It just breaks my heart when this happens to dudes over this emotional horse shit. There you go, bro.
Damn, that stuff's good.
Cursat, you need to get a beer.
Yeah, we drink real booze on the show. But we got here, MGTOW Forever wants, he wants a video too. And here we go. You'll love this one, Cursat.
Oh, God.
AOC with a big blue dildo. I never thought you'd see that shit today, did you?
Nope. You ready to take the break?
Yeah, we could take a quick break here, go over to New Tech. Cursat, did you want to stick with us, or do you have to adjourn?
I can stick with you. Sure.
Okay, cool.
All right, awesome. We're just going to take a little break here. So if you're on YouTube and you want to follow us over to New Tech, you can look in the chat. I'm going to paste the links where you can follow it directly to the channels, or you can click on the link tree in the Meat Gazer box and get a list of every place that we broadcast and every place where you can support the channel if you enjoy this content and you want to see more of it once Susie Q inevitably boots us off the platform.
It's probably going to happen.
It's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
So we'll take a quick break, and we'll see you in 5 on New Tech.
All right.
Because that's where it's at.